Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be all about fasted versus fed cardio because I know that this is a topic that many of you would like to know more about because this is typically the kind of question that I get in my DMs every other day. So today I am actually going to break it down for you all and present a few studies forward so that you sort of understand the practical implications of fed versus fasted cardio. So hopefully you guys will learn something from this video. If you like it, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also hit the bell button so you never miss a video from me again. Now without further ado, let's get into this video. So I'm going to start off by talking about this one claim that you see going around, floating around on social media a lot, is that fasted cardio is better for fat loss. So hypothetically or theoretically, when you sleep and you wake up in the morning, your glycogen levels are depleted, and that's why your body's going to tap into your fat reserves, so that ultimately leads to burning more fat. Now, while this sounds great in theory, let's see what the practical implications say. So the first study was investigated to check for changes in body composition, that is fat mass to fat-free mass, over the period of 4 weeks, and this involved 20 women who were not overweight, and they were put on a volume equated aerobic exercise program, and they were split into two groups, basically fed exercise and fasted exercise. Both groups were on a hypocaloric diet, which means they were in a deficit throughout the 4 weeks. Okay, so the first meal typically in the morning for these two groups was a meal replacement shake, which was about 40 carb, 20 protein, and negligible, about 0.5 grams of fat. And the fasted group obviously had this shake right after their exercise, and the fed group had it before their exercise. Also, customized meal plans were given to all the women to actually make sure that they were staying in a deficit, because as we know, these macros really differ from person to person. It's not something that you can just give out to a big group. So the protocol followed here was that they would do a 5-minute warm-up, so that was at about 50% of their max heart rate, and that was followed by a 50-minute steady state sort of a cardio session in which they were between say 65 to 70% of their maximum heart rate, and then at the end of it again there was a 5-minute cool down, which again brought their heart rate down to about 50% of their max. Body fat measurements were taken through air displacement plethysmography. So at the end of the study, 4 weeks later, there were no significant differences between the groups in terms of the amount of fat lost. So both groups lost a significant amount of fat, but there was no significant difference between the fasted and the fed group. So what we commonly refer to as the fat burning zone, or about 65% of your maximum heart rate, is when your body actually taps into fat for fuel, and as your intensity increases, it starts to rely more on glycogen or carbohydrates. So in spite of this, even though the heart rate maintained in this study was relatively low to favor that fat burning zone to really see whether there was going to be a difference, there was still no significant difference between both groups. So fat loss cannot be attributed to only one thing. It can't just be like, oh, if you do fasted exercise, you will burn more fat. It takes into account what you're eating throughout the day, what you're doing throughout the day. If you're just performing fasted exercise, you're eating a ton of calories and you're just sitting around all day after that, you will still not see the results that you desire to see. So the next study I want to talk to you all about is included about 10 young college-going males who performed 4 experimental conditions in the fasted and fed state. The meal involved here was glucose or milk. So they were split into 4 groups: a group that did fasted low intensity long duration exercise, a group that did fed low intensity long duration exercise, the third group did fasted high intensity low duration exercise, and the fourth group did fed high intensity low duration exercise. So the results of this study showed that the EPOC, or the excess post exercise oxygen consumption, was significantly higher in the groups that performed fed cardio as compared to the ones who did fasted cardio, which basically means that the ones that did fed cardio were burning significantly more calories through oxygen consumption post exercise. So this study favors fed exercise over fasted exercise. So another similar study was conducted amongst 7 young lean women to find out whether the energy expenditure post-exercise was greater after performing fed cardio or fasted cardio. And even in this study, the meal plus exercise category burned a significantly higher number of calories or expended more energy throughout the day than the fasted cardio group did. Now, we can say that the limitations of these 3 studies were that they were all tested on lean individuals, and therefore the findings cannot be imposed upon the general population. And that's why I wanted to include a fourth study here, which involved 16 obese women who were put through high intensity interval training or HIIT training in the fasted and fed state. This study again was done to check the effect of fasted versus fed cardio on body composition, and at the end of this study again there was no significant difference in terms of the amount of fat lost. So I think the takeaway from this video is going to be you can perform fasted or fed cardio mainly based on your preference. Weight loss and fat loss happens over a long period of time, and it doesn't only have one variable into consideration, right? So for example, if you're just doing fasted exercise thinking this is going to help me burn more fat, but then the rest of your variables like your activity level is much lower throughout the day, or your energy intake is much higher than it should be, then eventually you're not going to see the results you desire. So my suggestion is do what works for you. If you are somebody who absolutely hates working out on an empty stomach, then there's no reason why you really need to do that at all. But if you're someone who prefers going for a jog first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, then go for it. Basically do whatever suits you so that you're able to adhere to that program in the long run. Stop overcomplicating things, guys. Fat loss is not black and white. It's not something that can be attributed only to fasted and fed exercise. There are so many things that go into it. So rather than stressing over these little things, I would suggest focus on consistency and dedication, and slowly but surely you will get results. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I try to keep it short and simple, but if any of you are interested in understanding the science behind this and would like to read more about these studies, I'm going to link them down in the description box below. If you have any doubts, if there is any conflicting material that you have read, I would love to have a discussion for y'all. So let me know in the comments below. Please quote your sources. I'll go ahead and read them. We're all here to learn, guys. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a second, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button so you never miss a video from me again. That's all I have for y'all today, guys. I'll see you in the next one.